Hello everyone, just want to go over with you how you're going to set up your Hurdlr account in order to manage your GMTSS bank statements and use Hurdlr as your bank tracking sheet. So when you log into your franchise account, you're going to go over here to the business center. You're going to click on tax and savings, click on the Hurdlr. You have to do it this way to set it up this way so it's free because people can access Hurdlr outside of being an unfranchised owner and they can pay and use their online service from the computer or as an application, but we get it for free as part of our UFMS. Next, you're going to be able to log into your Hurdlr account right from your browser window. So I prefer Google Chrome. Google Chrome seems to do great on everything that we use as part of our unfranchised business. So you'll log in through Google Chrome. Once you're in your Hurdlr account, you're going to come up here to this sprocket or gearbox at the top. Click on that. And then now we're going to set up our account as far as business is concerned. You click on business. Right now I have in master events. And really this is the only thing I use Hurdlr for at this point because we pay an accountant to do the rest of our taxes and stuff. Quantum Leap is our business that we use for Market America stuff. However, I don't run anything through this program because I was already using an accountant before that. But you could do both. And in this case, I've already got it entered. But you would click the add button in here to add a new account. And then once you have that account added, the next thing you're going to do is you are going to add in your bank accounts. Okay, so if we click on either way, expenses or income, you click on bank and integrations. And so this is where you're going to sync to your Wells Fargo. I'm Wells Fargo, so I was able to, you just click right here, add income account. And then from there, when you click add income account, it's going to ask what kind of bank are you. You can search for other banks. As you can see, Wells Fargo isn't even on here. But from there, you'll be able to add the bank accounts that you want. Once you add and it syncs to your bank, then it has all of these as options. And as you can see, none of these come into here except for what? My master events, which is my regional bank account. And I have that turned on. And so I have that turned on for my income and I have it turned on for my expense. Once you've got that turned on for both and you hit the sync button up here, it's going to sync everything together. After you sync everything together, then you're on your home page of your Hurdlr. From here, it gives you a summary of what's going on within your banking. And so the next thing you would want to do is go into your expense category. Down the left-hand side here, we click on expenses, we come down, and here's how simple it is. You come down, you click on the transaction that you want to look at. As you can see, it's iTransaction. These are merchant fees. So from in here, I'm going to click on what kind of business is it. It's my master events. And then I'm going to add a note. So this is credit card processing fees. It's already earmarked as business, so I don't have to mess with anything there. Then I'm going to click on the category. When I click on category, it's going to give me some automatic options. Sometimes it'll link it right up and pick the right one to begin with. Sometimes it won't. In this case, it's going to be merchant fees. But let's say merchant fees wasn't there. You could put in here merchant fees, merchandise, and as you can see underneath other, cost of goods sold, merchandise, and then we have other, and then under other is merchant fees. Well, that's kind of fascinating that that's there. Well, that wasn't there to begin with. I had to create this as a category because I knew that's a category I wanted as far as categorizing this for my accountant at the end of the year. So I click on that, and then it's going to assign it to the merchant fees, and I click save at this point. As soon as I save it, now that is entered in as a transaction for merchant fees. As you can see, MA Web Centers is in here for website fees. So that's my hosting for my website through Explore MA website services. If it doesn't have the category you're looking for, you're going to click on, again, this gearbox, this gear sprocket symbol. And from here, you are going to go into categories. Business categories. Underneath expenses, go down to business categories, click on that. In here, it'll have all the different categories. You can click on the down arrow. It'll give you the sub-menus that go to each of these: advertising, promotion, website, what is it? But if it doesn't have what you're looking for, you click add. From add, you're going to put in what you want to call it. This is where I named it merchant fees. And from merchant fees, you click a parent category. And then I went down here, picked what I wanted it to be under, and then I clicked the next one. What is the other expense account I want this to go under? Once I put all of this in here, then I'm just going to click save. And it's going to create my new category. That simple, guys. After you have your expenses entered in, then you're going to go to the next category on the left here, which is income. I click on income. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to come down, and any income items, I'm going to click on them. And when I click on them, I'm going to put in what the refund was. So as you can see, this is a refund for meeting space on a deposit for our November 2020. So they just finally issued a refund partial. I still don't have all the money back, but I plan on getting all the money back. They said they would. But anyway, so here's what happens. You got the money. So this is $3,000. This goes here. And then as that goes there, it's a business. Business, same thing, business income. And then from there, I click what? Save. And now that's in there, automatically entered. So if I go back to the main menu and I save this item, and as you can see, everything's already entered in. How do I know? Because it's underneath master events is the business. See that? Pick your business, type in what the note is. Now you got to put the note in here, by the way. The note is what shows up as a description. You got to have a description. We got to know what that was. Like, why on earth is Embassy Suites giving Cullen money back? What is that? So I have to detail what that is so anybody who wants to look at my banking can see what that is. So the key to it, whether it's an expense or it's income, is to go line by line and do everything that's not already entered in from the month before. Make sure it's entered in, make sure it's in the correct categories, and if it's not, make sure it is. And then as you click on each one, again, super important what? To make sure you have the notes in here, which notes are going to be the description, which is important because now we're going to go to reports. You click on reports. I'm going to do business expenses by business. So click on that. The first thing I'm going to do is look at the date. And I'm going to say, what do I want to look at? Well, I want to look at last month. So I click on last month. All businesses, well, I can have all businesses because I've only got one in here. But if you click on the exact business you want to pull the report on, in this case, it's Master Events, then I click on Done. And then as you can see, it took me from June 1st to June 30th. And then it gives me every expense for the business and what it was for. So as you can see, this is already wrong, and I already know I need to go back before I try to download and submit this because MA Web Centers doesn't have a description in here. The description is what you entered into the note section. So it doesn't have that. I'm going to go back and do that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to click on download. I'm going to download the report. It'll say the download will begin shortly. And then it came in as a download as a PDF. I'm going to click on the PDF, and on my computer, it pops it into another window. And I want to save this. So I could click on this again, download, and that saves it on my computer. That's the way my computer does it. So in essence, what I want to do is create a folder for this. I go into my Southeast region, and from my Southeast region, I click on banking, and underneath banking, I'm going to go into what? 2020, and then underneath bank tracking sheets. So this is part of, goes with my bank statements. And so in here, the only thing I'm going to do is so if I click on this, it says April, I'm going to put in what? I'm going to put in as June, because that's the month that I'm working off of. And then a lot of times I put them in a number, so that way they stay categorized. So that would be the 6th month. So 6 and then June, that's what I would do. And then expenses, by the business. And you can edit this, so expenses, for Southeast Regional. Something simple like that, right? And then I click Save. Now that gave me my expenses. So now the expenses are done. And so what do I need to do? Go back to my Hurdlr. I go to Reports, and underneath Reports, I go to Income for my business. I want to look at last month. Now you can custom range it. Let me show you that. So on custom range, you can pick your start and ending date. So if you want to customize it, maybe your bank does it in the middle of the month to the next, like 15th to 15th. You can do that right here. Just click on it. And when you click on the calendar, click the date you want it to start, click the date you want it to end, and click Apply. And it'll reset the screen. Mine does it month to month. My bank does, so it's easy for me just to go last month. If you're somebody putting in yours quarterly, you can pick a quarterly to pull the report for the quarter. And then when you do this, click on My Business, click Done, and it says you have no income last month. That came in. And so, okay, I don't have any income. But if you had income, then you would click Download. And then I would download it. And then, therefore, I've got both reports. Now, if you want to do a profit and loss, this is where it comes in handy. At the end of the year, I got my profit and loss in here. If you want to file your taxes through Hurdlr, it does all of that. I personally pull a profit and loss statement. It gives me my income, gives me my expenses. I hand that over to my accountant, and my accountant for like 150 bucks, my accountant does my 1099s for my speakers and my end of the year accounting for my business. Once I give them the profit and loss statement for 150 bucks, 160 bucks, whatever it is. And for me, it's a business expense again. I'd rather have him do it, file it all correctly, it's done, and I don't got to think about it. But if you're doing it on your own, you can do it from here, and you can pull a profit and loss for the entire year if you want, right here. So if somebody says, "Hey, send me your what your bank statements are for the past year," and then you could say, "And then send me your bank tracking for the past year. What are the descriptions?" Well, you just pull it right out of the profit and loss, no problem. Pull it for the whole year. But the business by expenses, business income by the business, that itemizes it a little more detailed. And so those are the reports you're going to want to turn in. So what am I going to file with the company? I'm going to turn in my bank statement downloaded from my bank account, and from Hurdlr. If I'm using Hurdlr, I'm going to send in my expense report for that month or that quarter or whatever time frame you're doing, and I'm going to send in my income report. And so my expenses and my income should match what? My bank statement numbers. But now we have the descriptions of everything. Guys, in the beginning, there's a little bit of setup involved in this. I'm going to have a document that goes with this video. You just check off the boxes. But as you can see, once you got this thing set up, then you're just going to go in and then just do your income, do your expenses, do your descriptions. You're doing your descriptions anyways because you got to do them on your bank tracking sheet. But on your bank tracking sheet, you got to put in the date, what kind of transaction, you're adding all that in. And the bank tracking sheet doesn't do me any good for my accountant because that doesn't categorize anything. Hurdlr does.